Hello, Cancer. Happy October 2018 to you, and happy Halloween season to everyone. This is Capricorntigress, Adrian Igo of Astrology, a look inside, coming to you with my dark witchy poo look for the season. And and of course, because it's Halloween, and because I just felt the urge to be dark when I did these readings. I usually wear blonde hair, and so this is just a little bit different for me. And but it feels good. I like black hair just as much as blonde hair. So we're going to go ahead and talk about your chart. And what I'm going to do is I've actually made a little, a makeshift little astrology chart for you guys. And so I want to discuss where I believe the emphasis is going to be for Cancers for the month of October. So I'm going to do that first. And then once I do that and talk about the chart emphasis that I have here, then I'll go back through and we'll discuss the actual astrological events, okay? And then we'll see where that might fall or put that emphasis in your chart. Okay, so right off the bat, the first thing I see is that you have the North Node still in the second house. And I wonder how that's really been affecting you Cancers over the last few months, because, Leo, the North Node's been retrograding back through Leo probably since, I know for sure since August, and so maybe even July, August, September. And so you've been really getting a feel for that North Node in Leo. But this is it. It's going, this is the last month that it's going to be, I think, in Leo, because it's going from 2 degrees to 0 degrees of Leo, which is your second house, and then it's going to go into Cancer, into your first house, because it's always retrograding. And so you're going to be feeling that. But right now, and where the emphasis has been for a while, is your second house of money. And I wonder if, how you've used this, if you've amassed any extra possessions or things to give, your possessions, your money, what you have and what you've amassed over the last, while it's been in Leo, because we're at the last stages of it. So I hope you've really used it to your benefit. Most of the month, though, the emphasis is really going to be in your solar fourth house of Libra. Libra is the season. It is Libra season. And even though that, that's a natural square to most Cancers. One moment here. So, that could be an issue. But I believe, because the fourth house is the natural house of Cancer, I just believe that this Libra season is going to be a month where you might stop to nurture those that you love and take care of those that you love, because that fourth house is going to be emphasized. And so your marriage, your family, your home life, the people you love and care for the most, all of that is really going to be emphasized in the month of October. And it's especially so because the sun is there, and Mercury is going to start out in Libra. And eventually even Venus is going to go from being in retrograde in Scorpio. It's going to eventually go back into Libra, and that's going to be more emphasis on that fourth house. So you've got a lot of that emphasis on that home and that family. And with Venus going into the fourth house, it'd be a good time to get new furniture. The sun's down there. There's a lot you can use, this time, I think, to really do a good job of taking care of your home, and maybe sprucing it up, even doing a renovation or something like that. And, there's also going to be a lot of emphasis this month, though, because, up until the 23rd, the sun is going to be in Libra, and then everything really shifts, and it starts to shift even before that, but there's going to be quite a bit of shift into Scorpio. And, as I mentioned, the month starts out with Venus retrograding in Scorpio, and that's in your solar fifth house. And so, I don't know how that's actually played out in your relationships, with Venus in your solar fifth house, but that's where it starts out. And of course, Jupiter's been down in your solar fifth house all year. I mean, it's there until I think the end of November or something like that. But I hope you've taken advantage of having Venus in the fifth house, because that not only makes you really lucky in relationships, but your children might have been lucky this year if you have any. It could indicate luck in taking chances like lottos and lotteries and contests and stuff like that. So I really hope that you've taken advantage of all that emphasis in your solar fifth house in Scorpio this year. But this month in particular, you'll feel it because Mercury's going to go through Scorpio. That's your fifth house. Venus is going through Scorpio, going backwards, of course, and retrograding. That's your fifth house. And the sun is going through there. So Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, the sun, it's really got emphasis this month. I would definitely play the lottery. Definitely. And, you know, if relationships, if I would think there might even be a new relationship. Or shoring up an old one. I mean, making sure that old relationship is fixed and working on that. I can see that even. Now, Mercury is going to go through your sixth house. It's going to end up there at the end. So, by November 1st, it's going to be in your solar sixth house. But really, that emphasis is going to start out in the fourth house, go to the fifth house, and then end up in the sixth. Also, you know, all month long, there's emphasis in your solar seventh house because, well, it's got Capricorn there. And Saturn's in Capricorn, Pluto's in Capricorn. Saturn's at 3 degrees, Pluto's at 18 degrees of Capricorn in your solar seventh house. So that's partnerships, relationships, that's maybe even business partnerships, that could be enemies, especially with Pluto there and Saturn there. I would not be surprised if, you know, there have been some ugliness going on with as far as open enemies. Like if there's someone at your work or something that's after you, I'm sure by now you know, because that Pluto and Capricorn is nothing nice to have there. And that also can signify that either, you know, there's responsibility in your marriage, or it could just indicate that your marriage is a little heavy right now because of something going on in it. It could be maybe your partner has some issues with their health. It could be that, I don't know, it could be that you've had some ins and outs with your partner, but that Pluto and Saturn in the seventh house demand attention. They are not, they're slow-moving planets. So whatever they're working out in that seventh house demands attention. There is some emphasis in the solar eighth house too, with Mars in Aquarius, and Lilith is in Aquarius, and that's all in your eighth house. That's other people's resources, that's secrets, that's deep dark things, you know, sex, drugs, you know, death, taxes, all the deep dark things are happening. And Mars is there. It goes from 5 degrees to 21 degrees of Aquarius. So it could be something unique and weird, and just watch out for too much kink in the month of October. I'm just hoping that's not going to happen. Now, also, you know, Chiron is in the ninth house, and so is Neptune. So I can see where long-distance travel could be a problem. And also, do not get into any arguments or anything that has to do with political things. I just did a reading about that. You know, this is not a good month to go politically, because, you know, the elections are afoot and it could be an issue. And this is really indicated too by having Uranus up in the 11th house in Taurus. And so that could really affect you, and you could, you know, something sudden and out of the blue, and all of a sudden you're in the midst of an argument. I mean, with all that emphasis down in Scorpio, that teeter-totter between Taurus and Scorpio, I would just be really cautious this month and watch what you say, and just don't let your own philosophies and dogma, you know, maybe get you into hot water with someone, because that could be an issue, and that's never fun. So that is my talk about your chart. Okay, that's the chart that I drew up, and so where I felt that the emphasis would be for you for the month of October. But I want to go over the actual astrological events that are occurring over the course of the month, because I do believe that, you know, that's going to affect you as well. I better keep your chart here because I want to just make sure I got everything here. In the beginning of the month, you know, there's going to be some emphasis in your solar 12th house, because it starts out with the moon in Gemini. And then that moon is going to go into Cancer, and that's your solar first house. And that's on the 2nd of October, that sun in Libra is going to be square that moon in Cancer. Now, usually that's just a minor stress, but with it being your first house like that, and your 4th house, I just would be careful of having arguments with family members or something like that, because it could be a minor stress with that. And what, you know, it is the moon in your 1st house, and moon is your ruling planet. And so, you know, you just really want to make sure that you watch your emotions that day, especially around your family, because you know you love them. Now, October 3rd, Mercury squares Pluto. And Mercury is down in Libra. And Pluto, of course, is in Capricorn. So that's your 4th house to your 7th house. And again, remember what I was just saying about your family and argument with people that you love in your home. And this could indicate partners or marriage partners, like partnerships or marriage partners or even business partners. But, you know, if it's so, you could get into an argument with someone in your home that you are normally on good terms or partnership with. So just be cautious of that, because that Mercury square can just show that someone's got really strong opinions about one thing and someone's got really strong opinions about something else, and psh, there you go. Yeah. On the 5th, Venus retrogrades, and it retrogrades at in Scorpio, 10 degrees 50 seconds of Scorpio. And that is going to be putting that emphasis on your 5th house. I mean, I knew the retrograde was coming, and I don't know what's been going on in your 5th house of love, but this retrograde is going to definitely affect a lot of people, and that retrograde is definitely going to affect a lot of people. So it's going to indicate some possible love trouble, you know, and that is possible. And just be careful of that until about the 6th of November. It's just not a good time to start a new relationship or get married. I hope none of you have your marriage scheduled for this time. Oh, wouldn't that be horrible? On the 7th of October, Saturn is in conjunction true node, and that's usually a creative aspect, but Saturn's a little heavy. I'm thinking that it is going to be creative, and that it, you know, it's Saturn at 3 degrees of Capricorn, 3 degrees 20 seconds of Capricorn. Leo is at 3 degrees and 20 seconds. North node is at 3 degrees and 20 seconds of Leo retrograding. And as I started out saying in the beginning of the reading, is that Leo is alone over there in your 2nd house. It's at between 2 and 0 degrees of Leo down in your 2nd house. And so when Saturn in conjuncts that from the 7th house, I'm just hoping that that's going to be something positive that's coming from your business partnerships or from your relationships or partnerships to your money house. I would hate to think that you give in your relationship to a partner and that sucker don't even appreciate it. That would not be good. But hopefully it's going to be something creative and not anything, I hope, in a negative light. It should hopefully give an opportunity for some growth and some creativity. On the 8th of October, there's going to be a new moon in Libra, and it's going to happen at 15 degrees and 48 seconds of Libra. That's smack dab in Libra. That means it's probably going to affect just about every Cancer, because I give wide 10-degree orbs to moons that touch suns. And so we're looking at a new moon in Libra that's most likely going to square most Cancers. Most of you are going to definitely feel this. Now, you know, the crazy thing, as I mentioned, it's more of that emphasis on the family, the 4th house again. A new moon, even though it is square Cancer, it's a new moon. That means it is an opportunity to fix what might be broken. So if there is something that's gone wrong, fix it. If it's out of balance, if it's off kilter, fix it. It's Libra time, relationship time. And it's time to weigh those balances and make sure they're equal. You know, maybe there's some problems with equality in the relationship. Maybe one partner has more control over things than the other. I mean, with Saturn sitting in the 7th house and Pluto sitting in the 7th house, it's telling me that the partner in the relationship has all the power, has all the authority. And maybe this is a time when it's just going to heal that. It might be time to heal that from the 4th house, you know, family, from a nurturing, humane, emotional spot, because if that person is a part of your family, hopefully you'll be able to work this out and they will, you know, feel that with you, because it usually is a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks, where we get to work on our relationships, we get to center those relationships, we get to balance our life, and hopefully you'll find your center in your relationship so that it's not negative but a positive. On the 9th of October, Mercury goes into Scorpio. So there we go again. We're going to have 3 weeks of very deep conversations. And in your case, you know, that Scorpio is the 5th house of love. So we're back there again, aren't we? We're back in the 5th house again. This could be children. This could, again, be taking chances. But really, it's usually romance. It's usually like those quick relationships. It could lead to something serious because you've got Scorpio there, and Scorpio is always very deep. I could see someone, you know, having telephone conversations or online conversations, or just really starting to get to know someone because of that. But it could also be fixing established relationships, and that is something that you can do when Mercury is into Scorpio, because you can talk about that deep, heavy stuff that a lot of times 5th house doesn't like talking about anyway. So on the October 10th, Mars is going to square Venus. And Mars is up in the 8th house of sex and money, other people's money. But I had said earlier, Lilith is also there, and Mars and Lilith do make a conjunction during the month. I'm just hoping that there's not any obsessive, possessive stuff going on with money, with the relationship, with sex, because, you know, the 8th house always rules obsessions and possessions and all that kind of stuff like that. And I could see where that could be a real issue, because Mars square Venus is always a relationship issue, no matter who you are. But when it's happening in the night sky, we can't get away from it. And it just happens to be falling in your 8th house, which is sex. And Venus is down in your 5th house, which is love, you know? So sex and love, again, we're back in that area again. And it is an issue for you in the month of October. On the 12th of October, the sun is in Libra, and it's squaring that Pluto in Capricorn. So it very much like I was just saying, that Libra sun down in the 4th house, squaring that Pluto in the 7th house, that is power struggles. Power struggles. Could be power struggles with authorities, but I think it's really power struggles with your mate, with your partner. Whoever that is. It could be a business partnership. I said that before. It could be an enemy. I hope you don't have an enemy that powerful out there. But I could see where this could be a struggle with someone, either in your family, your home. It could be like your work, I would hope that your partner is not affecting your family. I don't know why I keep thinking crazy things, that something could be really affecting that. So, you know, on the 15th, Mercury in Scorpio is conjunct Venus in Scorpio. more Scorpio, more fifth house, more love stuff again. But this indicates like a deep digging, like using your investigative skills to dig deep, to get to the heart of the problem. So, something might be going on, and you might, use your investigative skills and find out what that is. I mean, when Mars in the 8th house, just don't kill nobody, don't hurt nobody this month. But you might find out something this month. So be aware of that, because there's going to be a lot of digging and looking, and it could just be that you guys are talking and learning about each other in a new relationship. I could see that, where Mercury in Scorpio and Venus in Scorpio, they're just like kind of like talking and learning about each other. And when love is new, you're all finding stuff out about each other. I could see that happening. So that is possible as well. On the 19th of October, Mercury trines Neptune, and it also squares Mars. So this Mercury, which is down in it's going to be probably in the 5th house by then, I believe. So let me make sure. It'll be in the 5th house, because it's Scorpio, so more 5th house, right? More love! Mercury trine Neptune. Mercury's going to be in the 5th house. Neptune is over in the 9th. So something to do with the 5th house and the 9th house. Could be, love, or taking a chance, or going to church, or, something positive. I could see something very positive happening there. But during that time, with Mercury trine Neptune, it's also squaring Mars. That square to Mars in the 8th house, I don't know what to say about that, because Mars in the 8th house, it likes being in the 8th house anyway, but it likes to cause trouble when it's there, because it's sort of like dignified or exalted there. It's like a co-ruler of that 8th house. And so, and it's not it's not conducive to positive, because Aquarius isn't a good natural place for Mars. It's kind of a weird place for Mars in a way. And so Mars being in the 8th house in Aquarius, in that square, I can see that being a problem for you. Please be aware of that. It could just indicate that communications, although they're creative, it could be confusing. There could be some harsh words. Someone could be angry at somebody, because this is Mars. The 8th house is deep, and it could be, it just somehow it comes off harsh. So be aware of that. On the 23rd, the Sun enters Scorpio. Finally. It's in Scorpio. But here we got more 5th house. I mean, I'm telling you, almost a whole month. You never get away from these relationships. This love emphasis. And this could be children. With that 4th house, and the 7th house is the husband or the partner, and the 5th house is the children. I could easily see that. But usually when I see the 5th house, like I said, I always think it's something to do with love, or romance, or wining and dining, or dating, going out to movies, or dancing, or shows, or just getting dressed up and going out and doing stuff. And hopefully you are going to take advantage of that and do that. And it does indicate that there's some possible healing. You'll be more emotional in your feelings. It's also secretive. So with all that secret stuff going on in the 5th house, I'm just hoping there's not like a secret affair, like either you or your partner. Scorpio loves secret affairs, so I'm hoping that's not happening. On the 24th, the moon is going to be full in Taurus, and that is going to be opposing all that 5th house. That moon's going to be in the solar 11th house. So it's going to be like your hopes, dreams, wishes, friends, associates, groups that you belong to. I always think of the 11th house as like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. But it's going to be opposing the 5th house of romance, where all that emphasis has been. So that's going to be a little bit weird, because all that emphasis is down in the fifth house, and suddenly the moon is full, opposing that. I just hope it's not going to be like, an episode of Maury where someone is like posting your relationship issues on Facebook and, all that kind of stuff. I hope it's not going to be something ugly like that. But just be aware that that full moon in Taurus in the 11th house is going to be opposing your fifth house. And of course, the sun that is going to be in Scorpio. Okay, so that moon, that full moon, indicates completions and change and transformations. And I could see where that full moon can come along and just put an end to your relationship, like put an end to your romance, like bam, it's done. And you'll be like, what happened? We were going so well. Why did this guy break up with me? I thought we were all, on the same page. Well, that full moon in Taurus, that could indicate that. Now, on the 26th of October, and I should say this also, it could also just mean a lot of love and affection, because Taurus they're very sensual. So that could be just that could just add to the intensity. Okay, so on the 26th of October, the sun is in Scorpio and is conjunct Venus in Scorpio, and it is more intensity again, more Scorpio again, more fifth house again, intensity and transformation. It says it's dissatisfaction with your relationships. But I don't know. That's a lot of emphasis in the fifth house, and that's all trying your Cancer. I think you guys might, you might benefit from all this Scorpio emphasis, Cancers. I'm hoping your love life is going to be hot, hot, hot. Really. I'm just thinking it will be. And then, on the 29th, the sun in Scorpio trines the moon in Cancer. So the moon's going to be in your first house, trining your fifth house. Now, they say it's a day to let go let go of things that don't serve us. But with the moon in your first house and that sun in the fifth house, I'm just thinking you're going to be it should be an emotional day, but it should be a romantic day. I could see that being a romantic day. Although some say it might be, say, to let go of what doesn't serve you. But I don't think that'll be that case. I think it'll be a romantic day. Hopefully something positive will happen that day. It's a trine. It should be positive. Now, on the 30th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. And Sag is your sixth house. And that's a good place for Mercury, because it'll put some, your thoughts will go from romance and playing. It'll go into work and your health and to doing service and things for other people. And I could see where your work you could get maybe some really creative ideas for work, which might help you to get ahead eventually. But be careful about, things like details and stuff like that. It's a very good time to be meticulous in your work. On the 31st, Venus leaves Scorpio because it's retrograde, and Venus enters Libra, and it'll stay there until at least the 6th, I think it is, or 15th or something like that. But it's going to be retrograde, or it's going to be in Libra into November. So, take advantage of that little bit of time that we have, and love should become a little bit easier. I think until about the 15th. Take advantage of that. Also, Venus is opposite Uranus, though. So for some people, it could be a really rough time for love. Venus in Libra is, square Cancer. And even though Venus will be in your solar fourth house, which is the natural house of Cancer, it is still technically a square of Cancer. But I think because that is the natural house of Cancer, I think somehow it's going to be positive, because it just brings love into the home and love into the family. I think that's what Cancers really are looking for, and I'm hoping that you get that this month. So guys, this has been my reading for you for the month of October. I hope it resonates with somebody. Sometimes, you know, since I'm a Western astrologer, but I'm a psychic astrologer, I just sit around and just look at things and start rambling and talking. And sometimes it hits the nail. And, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, but it's a general reading. And that's why I ask that you all reach out to me. Come and stop by Astrology, a look inside. And, you know, subscribe, definitely, so you can stay in touch with me. But I hope that one day you get a professional reading from me. And there is information below about that. So definitely take advantage of that. And I look forward to hopefully getting to help some of you Cancers out there. So this has been Adrienne Igo, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside. Much love and much light to all you Cancers. May October bring you much joy and much happiness, and happy Halloween to all. Bye now.